All right, if you're working in finance in Luxembourg, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say BCL statistical reporting. It can be a real headache, right? Well, today, we're going to cut right through all that complexity and show you a clear path to getting it done without all the stress.
So, be honest, does the idea of juggling all those reports, the super specific XML formats, and, oh yeah, the hundreds of validation rules, does it all feel a little overwhelming? If you're nodding your head, trust me, you are not alone. It's a huge operational lift, and the pressure to get every single detail right is intense.
And this is exactly why that pressure is so high. This isn't just a friendly reminder, it's a direct quote from the Banque Centrale de Luxembourg itself. The stakes here are absolutely massive. A mistake isn't just a mark against your company, it reflects on the entire financial community in Luxembourg. No pressure, right?
So, here's how we're going to break it all down today. First, we'll really dig into the reporting challenge and its technical nightmares. Then, we'll introduce a solution that is a real game changer. We'll see it in action, and finally, we'll map out what your new, simplified path to compliance actually looks like. Let's dive in.
Okay, first things first. To really get a handle on this, we need to understand the sheer scale of the BCL reporting challenge. Let's look at what's actually required.
In Luxembourg, it feels like you're in this constant cycle of reporting. You've got the quarterly S2.16 balance sheet, the S2.17 transaction report, and then there's the monthly TPT IBS, which gets incredibly granular. Each one has its own deadline, its own specific data demands. It's a lot to keep you on your toes.
All right, now let's get into the weeds. We're going to decode the technical demands because honestly, this is where things get really tricky, and it's where the risk of making a mistake just skyrockets.
Just look at this file name. It's not just a name, it's a minefield. Every single piece of it, the report code, the layout, the period, the reporter ID, every part has a very specific meaning. You get one character wrong, one underscore out of place, and boom, the whole thing gets rejected instantly. This is the kind of unforgiving precision we're talking about.
And it goes even deeper than that. The BCL's XML format is based on what they call a tree-structured menu. What that really means is your data isn't just a flat list, it's hierarchical. So the code you're allowed to use in one field completely depends on what you entered in a field higher up in the tree. It's this complex web of dependencies where one wrong move can set off a chain reaction of errors. So just how many of these little rules do you need to juggle in your head while you're trying to put all this together? Well, the BCL applies over 100, that's right, 100 plus different validation checks to every file you submit.
And these rules are all over the place. Some are simple, like making sure amounts are positive. But then you get into the really complex stuff, like cross-report validations. For instance, a specific line in your quarterly S2.16 report has to match up perfectly with the totals from your monthly TPT IBS data. Trying to manage this mountain of detail manually, it's just a recipe for disaster.
Okay, so we've laid out the problem, and it's a bit intimidating. But here's the good news. We can now talk about the solution. It is time to introduce a much simpler and, frankly, smarter way to get your BCL reporting done.
The answer isn't about working harder or hiring more people to double-check everything. It's about working smarter. And that solution lies in these specialized Excel templates from Fund XP, which are specifically designed to do all of that heavy lifting for you. So let's see how this actually works. We're going to put these templates in action and look at how their key features solve the very problems we just talked about, one by one. Remember that complicated tree-structured menu and all those specific codes you have to get right? Well, instead of you having to manually type them in and risk a typo, the templates give you pre-populated drop-down lists. This means you can only select a valid code for that specific field. It just completely eliminates a whole category of common errors right at the source.
And you can forget about that end-of-the-month stress, trying to validate everything at the last minute. These templates have live, cell-by-cell checks built right in. You can see there's an error column that literally flags an issue the moment you type it. It turns validation from this big, scary final step into a simple, real-time process. It's a total game changer. And that crazy, complex file name we looked at earlier, that becomes a thing of the past. You just enter your key information, like your reporter ID, into one centralized header, and the template does the rest. It automatically generates a perfect, compliant file name and XML structure. It's just a beautiful thing, turning a really tough technical task into a simple data entry step.
So when you put it all together, what you're really getting is a complete toolkit. You've got that centralized header for all your key info, you have clearly organized tabs for each report, and you even have built-in summaries that handle those really difficult cross-report checks for you. Then, when you're all done, it's just a single click to generate the XML, and it's ready for direct filing.
So, what does this all mean for you in practice? Well, this brings us to our final section, the simple, straightforward, and compliant reporting workflow that this solution makes possible.
Your new process is just this simple 5-step flow. You enter your data using those helpful drop-downs. You validate it instantly as you work. You review the automated summaries, you generate the perfect XML file with one click, and then you file it with total confidence. It's a beautifully clear path from data entry all the way to submission.
So we've gone from this world of complexity, manual checks, and high risk to a streamlined, automated, and secure workflow. The only question left is, are you ready to streamline your BCL reporting?